Hello everybody, it's hobbitsizz, and welcome to another lore video. In today's video, I've decided that I had enough time being in like plat, so I kind of want to get out of plat. You know, maybe we'll either bull rush to masters or we'll just chill in diamond for a little bit. Either way, I'm gonna try to get out of plat. So in order to do that, I'm gonna play a deck which completely destroys Aurelia Azir, and that is FIORA, mono FIORA. And you can see from the title here, it's called Step On Me FIORA. All rights to this name go to Swim, as I took the deck from his website. I modified it slightly for my own playstyle and own needs, but like the base deck, actually most cards I will say in the deck are for his. The only thing that I modified is I added 2 prismatic barriers. This is mostly for an anti-dragon matchup, because sometimes your FIORA just gets hushed. And like if you don't have flash freeze and like your FIORA gets hushed and they have a giant dragon, you can prismatic barrier and stop all the damage, and it basically works as like another flash freeze in some scenarios, but also good against removal. So that's why I have the 2 prismatic barrier. But let's go through the deck a little bit. 3 brittle steel, 2 chain vest, 3 elixir of iron, so a lot of early cards to keep FIORA alive, a lot of low cost cards. 3 of Entreat, gotta get FIORA, Sharp Sight, Single Combat, Troll Chant, all just super good combat tricks. Flash Freeze, Barrier, like I said, 2 Strafing Strike, basically a single combat but slightly worse. 2 Take Heart, your FIORA will end up getting damaged, and this gives it a nice, basically like a standalone buff for 1 less mana. Standalone, Golden Aegis because of the rally effect, and Barrier really helps too, and then 2 Concerted Strike. So this is the deck, and we are going to be trying to climb with it today. I've actually played it some games on it today already. And as you can see, I am at 80 LP here. So, yeah, let's play some games and hopefully play against Azir Aurelia. Okay, so our first game isn't really Azir Aurelia, right? It's, whatever this is. Mono, Shurima. That's okay. I like the freezes to deal with stuff like Renekton, Brittle Steel. It's often nice to have a 1-mana trick. And I really like Stand Alone, so I'm actually just going to keep this hand. Stabbing, Standalone, and FIORA, very, very good. We got a Strafing Strike, so we have a pretty decent hand, right? We got buffs for FIORA, we got some, like, they have no hard removal for champions, so the only thing I have to rely on is, like, them doing combat-based removal, so that's why I want to keep the freezes. Alright. Oh, man, I can't... Darn, my FIORA deck that the only way of doing damage is with FIORA was totally gonna kill this. Ah, you found me out. You found out my plan. I just really wanted to kill the Buried Sun Disc. You know? Yeah, so things like this is kind of why I have Brittle Steel. Like, there we go. You know, easy. And that's kind of why it's nice. It's very good to deal with that card specifically, and that card is around a lot right now. Yeah. Okay, so he's going Hierophant. I definitely want to stand alone. Get the buff while we can. We are under no threat of, like, anything right now. The only thing he can do is, like, drag me. Like that. And give him bone... And give... Okay. I was going to say he could give himself +3 attack, in which case I would have Elixir of Iron and Chain Vest, but he can do Scrying Sands too, which I don't... Yeah, alright, he just wasted his Scrying Sands. Cool. Let's, I'll give him a Jinx for that one. That was definitely an worthy play. Alright. Boom. Another victory for House Laurent. So, get into Plat 2. Pretty easy game, all things considered. Going for another one. Yeah, that game took like 2 minutes. So that's pretty nice. That's the power of this deck. So when the people make a mistake and then they just concede because it's too annoying to keep going. We have FIORA, so we don't need Entreat. Golden Aegis isn't that great. I do kind of want Strafing Strike. I prefer a single combat to stop like effects where he kills his own units. Chain Vest is actually going to be really, really helpful. Okay, so there's a single combat. I don't need 3 strikes all in one. I would like some buff cards too. Because what he has, they're going to have like Thresh. I mean, they'll have cards with like 3 and 4 attacks. So I need to be able to get FIORA above that 3 and 4 attack bump. Flash Freeze is not a bad way to do that. And obviously we have no turn 1 or turn 2 play because we're just waiting. I'd say the hardest thing with the FIORA deck into like an aggro matchup is just like surviving the first couple turns. Because people can do like, because like this deck especially can do stuff like this, right? Now I take 6 damage on turn 2. And that's kind of obnoxious. So, another Flash Freeze. It's definitely summoning FIORA, but I definitely don't want to do anything here. I don't want to use a Flash Freeze and leave myself in a vulnerable position. I'm getting way too many single combats. I'm fine with that. I need more buffs. I'll just keep passing. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Buff card. Oh my god. I have all my strike cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have... Okay. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I'll just keep I'll pass again. He's gonna attack me with Thresh. We're gonna have to freeze Thresh. Have to freeze there. I mean, I can also just kill Thresh this turn, which isn't bad. I can like go for a Concerted Strike on the Bakai Reaper to save myself a little bit of health, which I also don't really mind. I mean, there's an issue that he might have like the Spear, right? Black Spear. But the problem is if he has Black Spear, I honestly like don't have a way to play around it. Based on my hand right now, I don't have like any buff spells, so playing around it, you know, if he has it kind of thing. He can also just kill his own unit. Okay, or Raid Negation. That's honestly like I'm okay with that. I don't even mind. I take 2 less damage from that regardless, so not exactly what I wanted, but not the worst. Not exactly what I want either. Yeah, this is just super awkward. Just way too many strike spells. I'll just pass again. Oh, thank God. All right. Oh, but I need to take damage first. Let's Golden Aegis now to give myself the barrier, which is preventative for his attack. I can also like strike and go for a kill on Thresh. I think I'd rather go for a kill on Bakai Reaper though. And I can like single combat that. Yeah, I think that's the play. This is just more damage. Okay. So we can go for the single combat on that. So that will trigger first before this does. And we're actually damaged, so then we can take heart ourselves as well.
This will be quick.
So he's only at 2 out of 6, which is fine for us. Yeah, he's definitely dragging, which is fine. We have take heart. Oh, I mean, I still have take heart. Definitely block this because it gets a lot more damage over time. Nice. And now we have 4 health, so we're actually out of Black Spear range too because we have the Chain Vest. Not that I want to use the mana unless I have to. He's at 3 out of 6. I have a billion strike cards in my hand, so all these little cards will be beneficial for me just to take. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the things that are at 1 health. I could just take out Thresh, but we'll go for the 1 health things first, and then if he wants to kill their stuff, we can go for like single combats on them. I mean, we have enough strikes that I think we'll be fine. Guess I can just go for Thresh. It's kind of unnecessary not to, right? Because if we go below, we have 10 mana, meaning we can go with that, which is 4, 7, 10. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We should have enough spells now to deal with whatever trick he can throw at us. Alright. Now we'll just go for a simple kill. And that should be game. Okay. That is fine. We have another one. Okay. He's doing that, and that is still fine because we still have another one. Because what he's killing that. Yeah, we got 3 strike cards. What up? Boom! So, 3 strikes. Worked out. All the strike cards in our hand actually worked out pretty well. Because of the damage that our opponent put on us, we were able to get the 3/3 buff from the Take Heart. And just like that, we are already into a plat 2 with 20 LP. Alright, and now here we have a really favorable matchup. This is probably the most favorable matchup in the meta right now for this deck. I mean, Thresh Gnosis actually might be slightly more favorable, but so I'm keeping single combat. Like, I know I don't have FIORA, but I'm keeping single combat, and the reason why is single combat is the, I mean, outside of FIORA, this is a little too many big strikes. But I was going to say, it's one of the most important cards that we can draw. And the reason for that is one of their only strategies to shut down FIORA. Because, like, there are a lot of, like, 1 damage unit spams, right? So if we get FIORA out and killing all their 1 damage units, and FIORA obviously lives, then their other option is to Homecoming FIORA. So having strike cards in hand is very, very important for stopping all of their Homecoming plays. Because the unit they're Homecoming is generally a low damage unit. And because it's a low damage unit, we can then use a low health unit, and then we can use single combat and stuff to stop it. Other than that, though, like, if we have standalone, then my attack goes to 6. Okay. Seems like a little bit of an awkward attack for you. 1, I could easily have Sharp Sight. 2, I have a plethora of health buffs, and, like, you're out of mana to... I mean, you could recall your own unit, which is fair. Nope, just killing Irelia. Yeah, that just seems a little odd to me, right? Like, he's not gonna play Flawless, or he shouldn't play Flawless Duet anyway. Because then he just literally upgrades my FIORA for free. Although some of these decks do run... What's the card? Shapestone? I actually might not block. I think I actually don't block anything when he does this. I think I actually just let this go. Because if my FIORA dies, I obviously lose. And I want to play around him having, like, a potential for Shapestone, right? Shapestone right now is just a +1 buff, so it doesn't matter too much, but it's still there. and I didn't have any other buffs to deal with it. So, he can recall. That's fine. I don't want to use, because like I said, single combat is really, really good to stop like homecoming. And one, I don't want to use my Conserved Strike right now because I'd much rather stand alone to build up my Fiora to make her not vulnerable to like Shapestone Place if he has it. And I don't want to use the single combat because it'll be a very important resource later on. So, okay. Just the way I like I'm free to do this here. There's nothing he can do to stop it. I mean, he can try to homecoming, but like I said, I have single combat. He can play Flawless Duet, but now I'm out of Shapestone range. What else could he have? Dagas, it's fine. Another Droplet, sure. I mean, I have Sharp Sight now, so. No. Play your Flawless Duet. I didn't block the last one. Why would I block this one? And now you get a Soldier. It's such good value. Don't mind the fact that Fiora is then only 2 kills away. Nice. That's really good. I also could be running Nopify and Deny. Deny is usually less because it's a little too mana intensive for this deck. But generally they do run at least a couple of Nopify. So like some of my single combats could be noped. Men die, there you go. But Sharima lives forever. Alright, so we'll kill Azir. I'm going for this card because, like I said, I don't think they run Deny. So there's only so many cards they can actually do to stop this from happening. I could go for single combat, but then that gets nopified. So we're just kind of we're playing out of some of his options here, and killing Azir is obviously very necessary because we still can get swarmed. He can still kill us faster than we can kill his own units. Hey, look at that! The thing that I said that I kept strike cards specifically to deal with. That's neat. And like I said, because Fiora's attack is so high due to the standalone, he has no way of making Azir big enough that Fiora can't just one-shot him. I did have to sack my Conserved Strike to get that out of him, but that's fine. Now he can't attack. I mean, he can attack with those two, but then that's because he played the Deos, which is not the smartest idea, I think. Alright. Now I'm just 1 win away. One unit away. We're at 3 out of 4. Ba 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 da ba ba ba. Ba 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 da ba ba ba. All right, cool. He surrendered.
Another victory for House Laurent.
Yep. And that's how you do it. This deck is really, really good right now. Yeah. I mean, we played 3 games, won all 3. This deck loses to like Ezdraven super, super hard. Ezdraven does make up, according to the last meta report from Mobalytics, Ezdraven makes up 8% of the meta right now. So, and Dragons is also a decent matchup. Although, like I said, like I think with the 2 barriers, you actually have a pretty good chance of beating Dragons as long as you play around, as long as you have a barrier or something in safety to deal with Hush. So sometimes, like if dealing with Dragons, you want to overcommit like a standalone to kill something, but you need a barrier and backup. So like you overcommit the standalone on purpose to get them to Hush, and then you can barrier to save your unit, that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, this is really, really good right now. I think according to that same meta report, so like Azir Aurelia was at 28% of the meta. Thresh Gnosis was at like 10%, I want to say, of the meta. And I think other Azir aggro decks are at like 3 to 5%. So look at it that way. And those are all like, assuming you draw Fiora, which I think in the first 3 turns, there's something like a 75, 80, maybe 80% chance. I don't know. You have pretty high odds of drawing Fiora. I think it actually might be closer to 90 with the 3 Entreat. So between 3 Entreat and 3 Fiora, you have like, I'm just going to say, if someone is good at statistics, you can statistic it out, but I'm going to say between 80 and 90% to draw Fiora by turn 3. And if you do that, in, I will say, 48% of your games, you just win. Like, you still need to play correctly, and you still need to do things like saving single combat for homecoming and play around their stronger cards that way. But all those matchups are super, super favored to you. So, yeah, I'd say like a good 48% of the time, you are in a highly, highly favored matchup. And if you play a deck in which we can round it to 50. We'll say 50. So if you play a deck in which 50% of the games you're super like good against, and you're only bad against like, I don't know, 18 to 20%. So let's say 20% is almost like an automatic loss with the dragons, although I don't think so, but that's what the stats say, with the dragons and Edgedraven. And like 50% is an auto win, and then you have that 30 middle ground where like it's a win or lose. Like, this deck sounds really good for climbing, right? So that's kind of my methodology of what I think when using this deck right now. And like I said, I think it's really sweet. It's a Fiora deck, so Fiora's decks do take a little bit of a learning curve in knowing like when to play your spells, when not to, when to bank mana, when you have the option to like play freely, like play standalone freely without getting punished for it, stuff like that. But if you can just learn how to do that, honestly, like Azir Aurelia becomes your best friend. This becomes like your favorite deck to play against. Like, you just wipe the floor with this, and you wipe the floor with Threshnosses. So, have fun. Go do that. Play Fiora. I highly encourage the Fiora. I'll say this at the end of the video, too. I made a Fiora Shurima deck that I've made a video on earlier. I like the Fiora Shurima deck, and honestly, I think the Fiora Shurima deck is better when the metagame is less spammy. Fiora Shurima more so relies on a slower game plan and has a lot of tools to stop enemy spells and to like stasis your Fiora with like Hourglass and to give her spell shield. It's a deck that's much more focused on keeping Fiora alive through spell interaction than it is so much through unit spamming, whereas the Freljord one is much more focused on keeping it alive through unit spamming and less through spell interaction. So I'd say they're both very, very good. And it depends what meta you're in. You pick the one that works. So this is a very unit spammy intensive meta, so play the Freljord version. That is all I'm going to say in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit me up with a like and a subscribe. We are so close to 500. We are about 25 subscribers away, 25, 26, something like that, from 500. Really getting close there, and I'm very excited. I have a couple things that I want to reveal to you guys, but I want to save it for like a milestone. So at 500, I'll reveal some more stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.